Hey everyone, Jessica Kubasi here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be going over changing hair color, and this is fairly easy to do. I'm going to show you guys one of my techniques on how to do it. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is isolate the hair from the model. So one way I like to do this is by using a quick mask. And the way that you use a quick mask is literally just by pressing the Q key on your keyboard. So by pressing the Q key, here, as you can see in the channels palette, you can see a quick mask layer has been created. And if you can't get the channels um, window, then what you want to do is just go to window and then channels, and then it should come up. Usually it's stuck to the layers, so just FYI. Now we're going to begin. Just go ahead and go to your brush tool and make sure that the hardness is about 0%. You can change this if you really want to, but um, I'm going to use a really fluffy brush. And the reason I'm using a 0% hardness is just so I can have more control over the small strands of hair. And you're going to want to make sure that your foreground color is black so that the quick mask shows through and it should come out as red. If you have your color set to white, what's going to happen is it's going to erase and it's not really going to do anything. So again, black is to add, and white, if you press X on your keyboard, is to erase. So selecting black as the foreground color, you're just going to want to outline the hair. And I tried to choose a picture that was a little bit more realistic because I've seen a lot of other tutorials that the model's hair is perfect. I mean, she literally, looks like Barbie over there, but I'm like, that's really not even real hair, so obviously, as you can see, there's flyaways and everything like that, but I just picked a photo that I thought people would, like I personally would edit and color the hair for. So I'm just going to finish up that tiny strand right here. This isn't going to be perfect, but probably go and refine it later on. If you make a mistake, again, just press X and make sure the white color is selected so that you can just erase it. I am kind of like a master at coloring, which is why I like to use the brush tool. Yeah, I have a background in, coloring. Some of my clients are Mickey Mouse, dinosaurs, which are no longer available right now, but yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. And it's good to use a tablet, by the way, to do this. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I just forgot like a bunch of her hair. So, there we go. Okay. There we go. So now what we have is the hair selected. So all you're going to want to do now is press Q again, and it's going to select what we just colored in. And then all you have to do is just press Command Shift I, and you're just going to want to invert the layer. And after that, we're going to duplicate the layer by pressing Command J. And what this did is isolate the hair from the background. So if I remove the background, this is all that is left. So again, we're just isolating the hair from the background. Now we can actually start the coloring process. So first layer that I'm going to use is layer, new adjustment layer. I'm going to use selective color. Now, if I just go ahead and, make any selection, okay, now if I go ahead and just make any selection, so if I just toggle back and forth, you can see that it affects the whole image, which is what we don't want. So what we're going to do is make a clipping mask so that the selective color layer only affects the hair layer that we just created. So how you do this is by pressing Alt and then when you see like these two little overlapping circles, all you have to do is just click. And then when the arrow points down to the layer, that signifies that it's a clipping mask. So now we're going to go from reds to neutrals. And now, whenever we do anything, it'll only affect the hair layer, which is great. Now, what I'm going to do is kind of move everything to the darker tone, and I'm going to show you guys why. You can actually, if you want, you can start coloring from the selective color layer, but I wouldn't really recommend that if you're not familiar with the selective color layer, because it can be confusing. So I'm going to slightly move everything. Let's see, like I'm going to make this a little bit darker, and I'll show you guys why I'm doing this. So I'm going to keep it like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go to layer, new adjustment layer, and then hue saturation. And then I'm going to create another clipping mask, again holding your Alt key and clicking. Now what I'm going to do is simply, I can just adjust the color that I want, but I'm going to press colorize. So now I can just choose more easily what color I want, and this is so much easier than selective color, although again you could use selective color for this. And I'm just going to be toggling back my saturation. So I'm going to choose about 17 is pretty good to me. And I'm just going to bring this down about like 8 points, I think. And as you can see, if I just toggle back and forth, it's already kind of like doing all the hard work for me. So if you wanted her to have lighter hair or darker hair, you could just bring, I mean, obviously you don't want to do that because it's going to look fake. So. And after you choose a color that you like, so like this, I actually like that pink, like this purple color. I wish I could color my hair like this. You could just bring that whole layer in by just adding one last curves layer. And just something like that. And you can also go back to your selective color layer, going back to neutrals, and you can change kind of the style that you want. So if you want it to be a little bit lighter, you can always bring up, lower the blacks. Or if you want it to be a little darker, you could add more black in there. And then lower the saturation. So it's kind of like, you got to work with both, honestly, but the way that I figured was easier is just by using the colorize layer for the hue and saturation and just kind of keeping the neutrals, kind of, don't play with the black too much, but again, it's all just really practice and selective color. So I hope this was helpful, and again, if you really want to get crazy, use selective color and just kind of toggle back and forth with this, and you can create all the colors that you want just from this one layer. So that's definitely what I would do. Or if you're just looking for something easier, use a hue and saturation layer. And also, when you finish choosing your color, go from normal to color, and it'll kind of like make it a bit more natural. I'm just using that curves layer just to kind of blend it all in. So it's kind of like that. So again, hue saturation layer to color, and this is set to normal. So play with both, and I hope this was helpful. The problem with coloring tutorials for hair is that, it really differs from designer to designer, but it is harder for me to do, to show you guys exactly how it's done in one go. Hopefully I wasn't too confusing. I can touch up on this a little more in another video if you guys really want me to, but hopefully this kind of like gave you at least a foundation for what to do. I hope this was helpful, and thank you guys so much for watching.